Budget Committee meeting Thursday, March 18th, 2010 to order. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Chairman McMillan?
Here.
Dr. Mackey?
Present.
Mr. Antropov?
Here.
Mrs. Griffin?
Present.
Mr. Hassan? Mrs. Trimmy? And President Guidry.
Here.
You do have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 3 has consideration making recommendations with reference to the following funding requests from special service districts for grant funding of the gaming funds. Item 3.1, Waterworks District 1 of number 1, $45,000.
Move on 3.1.
Second.
Existing water lines and fire hydrants along Georgia Road. I have a motion by Mr. Anderpont and a second by Ms. Griffin on item 3.1. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, 3.1 carries. Item 3.2, Ward 1 Fire Protection District number 1, $12,000 for purchase of VHF radio repeaters. The total cost of this project is estimated at $12,000. I need a motion on item 3.2.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Guidry, second by Ms. Griffin on item 3.2. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item 3.2 carries. Item 3.3, Ward 1 Gravity Drainage, District number 8 of Ward 1, $100,000 for engineering and professional services to outlay North Perkins Ferry Outfall Drainage Project. Need a motion on 3.3?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Griffin, second by Mr. Guidry on item 3.3. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, 3.3 carries. Let the record show that Mr. Hassan and Ms. Trimmy have joined us for our Budget Committee meeting. Item 3.4.
What time was the meeting, Mr. Chairman?
They were running a little late on another project. We thank you for all your hard work, both jurors. Item 3.4, Gravity Drainage, District number 8, Award 1, $8,942.30 for purchase of drainage pipe related to materials for drainage improvements in Parkview Part 2 subdivision.
So moved.
The agenda note estimated project is the same price. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Ms. Griffin on item 3.4. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item 3.4 carries. Item 3.5, Ward 4, $20,800 from the Ward 4 allocation, $4,800
Move on 3.5.
Gravity Drainage District 15 allocation. Gravity Drainage District number 5, Award 4, $25,600 for installation of culverts, catch basins, and drains on the North Maplewood Drive Drainage Lateral 2. Got a motion by Mr. Anderpont and a second by Ms. Griffin on item 3.5. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item 3.5 carries. Item 3.6, Ward 4, $28,600 from Ward 4 allocation, $6,600 from Police Jury District 15 allocation. Gravity Drainage District number 5 of Ward 4, $35,200 for installation of culvert, catch basin drains on Beauregard Street drainage lateral.
Move on 3.6.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Anderpont, second by Ms. Griffin on item 3.6. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item 3.6 carries. Item 3.7, Ward 5 and Ward 7. Consideration request by Waterworks District 14 of Ward 5 on behalf of their district, as well as the Waterworks District number 10 of Ward 7 for assistance in meeting the 55% required match for USDA grant funding provided for second water well to comply with requirements for backup water supply. Agenda note, the total estimate of this project cost for a new well is $685,000 with the USDA grant equating to $308,250, 45% of local share amounting in $376,750 or 55%. I need a motion on 3.7.
Move on 3.7.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Griffin,
We
second
need
by Mr. Hassan. Under discussion, Ms. Trimmy.
I'm actually going to punt tomorrow.
Okay,
you
Mr.
don't mind.
McMurray, I guess an explanation of this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Working together.
In hard-nosed negotiations between Ms. Trimmy and Mr. Hassan a while ago that probably equaled the health care negotiations in Washington, I think they've reached an agreement on how to accomplish this. These are two water districts that are really going to hold hands. I think it's a really good precedent for what ultimately could happen across the parish, where water districts work together to really let the economies of scale go to work. So it's really exciting that they're being able to do this. But there is a need for an additional well as a backup for that system. they have been able to secure a USDA grant that would pay for 45% of the well. The total cost of the well would be is estimated to be about $685,000. Question was how we could work out an arrangement to where the other 55% could be funded. The Tammy has gone over the books of the district, and it's apparent that the district can meet 50% of that required match, which would be a little over $188,000. The Ward 5 Gaming Fund at that point could contribute $73,378 without breaking that bank, leaving some of that available. The Ward 7 Gaming Fund could produce $40,000, and it would be our recommendation that we look to a $75,000 grant from Parish-wide Economic Development Gaming. This district goes down to I-10 there at Vinton, and the possibility of public water at that location offers a significant opportunity for some economic development that will add to the ad valorem tax base, not only of that district, but of the parish as a whole. So I think that would be a good investment to make, and that would secure enough funding to get to the 55% match. They can get the other well done, and they'll be off and running. So that's the recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. McMurray. Any questions by any of the jurors on, for Mr. McMurray? We do have a motion second to approve it, so we're okay. Any discussion? From Mr. McMurray, anyone else want to discuss this item? All right, I have a motion second on item 3.7. Any objection? Hearing none, motion carried. Item 3.8, Ward 8 Fire Protection District Number 1, $6,500 for the purpose of extension of communication tower that will benefit the district, and Ward 8 Fire Protection District 2. Need a motion on 3.8?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Anderpont, second by Ms. Griffin on item 3.8. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, 3.8 carries. Item 3.9, Ward 8 Fire Protection District Number 2, $6,500 purpose of a extension of the communication towers that will benefit the district, Ward 8 Fire Protection as well as District Ward 1.
We're on 3.9.
A motion by Mr. Anderpont on 3.9. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Griffin. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, 3.9 carries. Item 4 is consideration of making a recommendation with reference to a funding request in the amount of $30,000 from the Lake Charles North Redevelopment Authority for the first year operation funds, with said funding being allocated from the Economic Development Allocation Gaming Fund. I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Guidry. The agenda note: the City of Lake Charles is providing in-kind services in the form of legal service, office space, and meeting room facilities. I have a motion and second on item 4. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item 4 carries. Item 5, consideration of making a recommendation with reference to a funding request in the amount of $35,000 from the Community Center and Playground District 2 of Ward 4 SPAR.
Move on 5.
Costs related for the LHSAA Girls Fast Pitch 56 softball tournament to be held in Sulphur on April 30th through May 1st, 2010, with said funding being allocated from the Economic Development Fund allocation and other gaming funds. Have a motion by Mr. Anderpont, second by Mr. Hassan. Mr. Anderpont.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. It was related to me and my real reliable source here just recently that when the last time Sulphur competed to get the championship games back in Sulphur, that some of the high schools throughout the state had written to the association asking them to keep the tournament in the city of Sulphur, which is a good thing for West Calcasieu, East Calcasieu, Calcasieu Parish, and the whole Southwest, I guess. I just thought I'd make that comment that we have been well received.
And Mr. Anderpont, to reiterate what you're saying, I can tell you absolutely being there last year, watching the tournaments, watching the caliber play, and watching the people that participate in this tournament and bring an economic boost to all Southwest Louisiana. This is money well spent. We'll get it back tenfold over. So,
I appreciate the support.
thank you. Ms. Griffin?
And you know, Mr. Andrepont, it's exciting to see so many young people in our parish because they're all over in the city of Lake Charles eating out. I met a group of them and talked with them. They were at IHOP. So it's good for us.
Yeah, for everybody.
Any other discussion on item 5? Any objection? Hearing none, item 5 carries. Item 6, consideration of making a recommendation with reference approving a request from the Lake Charles Regional Airport to amend the scope of a project previously funded by the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury to provide a purchase of equipment. Agenda note, the airport has requested that the remaining balance of a grant, $55,687.96, be used for purchase of equipment. So basically, we're taking that grant and using it for other stuff. Got a motion by Mr. Griffin and second? Who had a second?
I bid first.
Mr.
He had
Guidry?
second.
Okay. Dr. Mackey made the motion with a second by Mr. Guidry on item 6. Any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item 6 carries. Is there any other business for the Budget Committee?
Move we adjourn.
Got a motion by Dr. Mackey to adjourn. I need a second.
Second.
Wait, what else? Oh, I thought you had. I'm good. I'm gonna do it later. Okay. Second by Mr. Guidry. With that, all in favor? Any objection? Hearing none, we stand adjourned.
2010 has now been called to order. We will have the invocation by Mr. Size, and we'll follow immediately with the pledge. Please stand.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Let them kids follow.
You know, invocation tonight be my pastor and Mr. Stelly's ex-pastor, the very Reverend Father Marcus Johnson.
Kids, would y'all just come on and follow in before we begin, if you don't mind, please? Thank you. Father Marcus, just give us just a minute to get those kids in. We'll begin. They can also follow in the front rows, if possible. We've got some room up in the front. They can fall in the front rows if they don't mind. Thank you, Father Marcus. You can come in.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. God our Father, we thank you for the gift of creation and filling us with life. Be with us at this evening hour. Bless the work of our parish government officials. Guide them by the light of your Spirit. Fill them with your wisdom. May their decisions help advance the common good of all our citizens who reside in Calcasieu Parish. We ask this through our Lord Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with you in the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever.
Amen.
Amen. Please face the flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Yes, sir. Mr. Andrepont?
Here.
Mr. Brain? Here. Mr. Collins?
Here.
Mr. Farnham?
Here.
Mrs. Griffin?
Present.
Mr. Hassan? Here. Mr. Landry?
Here.
Dr. Mackey?
Present.
Mr. McMillan?
Here.
Mr. Scott?
Here.
Mr. Spell?
Here.
Mr. Stelly?
Here.
Mr. Sias?
Present.
Mrs. Trimmy?
Here.
And President Guidry.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. If there's anyone that's here tonight that would like to speak on any of the items, there are some blue slips in the rear of the room. We'd ask that you would fill those out and either give those to Ms. Colleen or Ms. Jessica, and we'll make sure and get you on tonight's agenda. We know that we've got a little bit of a full house tonight, but I want to ask also if there's anybody that has a pager or a cell phone, I would ask that you would please put that to silence. We really would appreciate that. Okay? And we thank all of you for being here tonight. At that, we'll go ahead and begin. Item number 5. Following has been advertised in accordance with the law for action to be taken at 5:30. Receive open seal bids for all gas and mineral release on certain tracts of land. Mr. McMurray.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have one bid. This is from David Vanacore, Petroleum Landman out of Lafayette. This is for an aggregate total of 4.64 acres cash bonus in the amount of $928, which it's approximate $200 an acre price. The annual rental of $928. The royalties they're quoting are 21% for all of the minerals. The cashier's check is attached. It'd be appropriate to approve this and forward it to the state mineral.
Move.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Andrupont and a second by Mr. Collins. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 5 passes. Item number 6 is a 6 o'clock action. We're going to go ahead and wait on that and move to item number 7. Presentation of certificates to the coaches and players of the St. Louis Catholic Ladies Saints girls soccer team in recognition of their 2010 Division II Soccer State Championship. Dr. Mack.
We have a pretty exciting thing this day from St. Louis Catholic High School. They were recently placed in District 2 from District 3, and they won state titles in both girls and boys. I would ask the coach, Duncan McDonald, to please come forward. What we're suggesting today give you the figures to pass out, but would you introduce the girls, and we'll have them come around here so that we can take pictures of them. That way, and I'll get the trophy.
Yeah. Okay, first off, I'd like to thank everyone here for recognising what we've achieved. The girls have worked very hard for this over the last couple of years, and they deserve it, and they deserve all the recognition. I'd like to thank you for taking the time out to recognise their achievements. First one, Rashima Clark, Rebecca Carlton.
Guys, just come all the way around the front, guys, and we're going to get you all in.
Gallier,
Thank you so much.
Jody Chatters, Hannah Ortlin, Lakin Ward, Amber Dwaron, Caroline Soleri, Olin Schindler, Ellen Landry, and Mary Klump.
This is the trophy I'm going to give to the coach, and it has the pictures of all of the players and coaches. And I would like to read it. This award is presented with pride and appreciation by the Poughkeepsie Parish Police Jury on Thursday, March 18, 2010, to St. Louis Catholic High School girls soccer team and coaches. They have won Division II state championship, but they have also won 208, 209, and 2010 in Division III. So these gals know how to kick. So.
Great job.
Thank you, girls. What a great job. All right, now listen to this, guys. I'm not going to repeat myself now, but it is what it is. Listen closely. Item number 8, presentation of certificates to the coaches and players of the St. Louis Saints boys soccer team in recognition of their 2010 Division II Soccer State Championship.
I would
Come on
ask
up, guys. That is unreal.
Coach Art
Dr. Mackey,
to please come up, and any of the other coaches that are here. We were going to ask you to hand these out at school. Let's see, where's the trophy? This is the trophy. This is for the boys, huh? Yeah, okay. Trophy for the boys. I'll take a moment to read. They won the Division II, which they just was bumped up to, but they've also won in 97, 98, 03, 04, 06, 07. Also, they have won state championship in Division III. So these guys know how to kick too. You just put them on.
And just like Coach McDonald, just wanted to thank thank you for the recognition. This has always been a great achievement to win a state championship, but also to be part of coming up here and receiving this trophy. I know it's displayed prominently in our trophy case over at St. Louis, and although we have a few state championship trophies, this is just as recognizable with inside of our trophy case because of the great job that Dr. Mackey and the police jury does. So we appreciate everything. The girls, I know the boys, they were outside when we first started, and the girls were all inside and had gone through the routine of the last couple of years, and even made mention that the boys really don't know what to do because the girls have done it for the last couple of years. But these boys made an incredible achievement, and I'm very proud of them, and great senior class in particular, and I think some guys that I think are ready to fill in and do well and try to do it again next year. With that, I'd like to bring them up. Trevor Duplashan, Adam France, John Paul Miller, Cade McCoy, James Bice, Daniel Spell, Zach Druye, Jose Calles, Alex Jordan, Alex Kohler, Drew Francois, James David Allen, Campbell Flint, Tanner Wise, Patrick Bice, Matt Fontenot, Darren Bowe, Will Lorio, Timothy Monte, Frankie Wood, Harrison Flint, Chris Cerrone, Marty France, Hunter Hodgkins, Lance LeBlue, Jacob Ayub, Josh Benoit, Logan Mays, Matthew Jester, Jacob Hughes, Andrew Gale, Hunter Thibodeau, and Kirby Ortling.
This is a football team or
I do want to mention one thing. This trophy is made by our staff, and I just think that they do a beautiful job. Let's give them a
We were all pulling for you.
Look forward to seeing you again next year. Great job.
How many freshmen are there?
Great job.
Freshmen? No. Sophomores? Anybody coming back? All right. We got to have you coming back.
Hey, Coach, good job.
Good job, baby.
You're doing it. Yep.
Thank you.
Good job, Coach.
Good job, man. Good job. Great to see you.
Congratulations, Coach. We were really pulling for y'all so hard. And to think y'all both played the same team. That's just unbelievable.
I'll get some.
Yeah, Vanderbilt.
Okay. I'll pour mine in my cup so that you eat it
Well,
as you
she'll
can
get
drink
it
it.
after me, so
Oh, out of the
She'll
bottle.
get it after me, so I don't lose it.
Again, we want to thank the St. Louis girls and boys for that outstanding accomplishment, winning the state championship in both boys and girls. That's pretty good, guys. And being in sports all my life, I tell you what, that's an accomplishment for Southwest Louisiana. Great job. At this time, before we move on to item number 9, I would like to ask my colleagues for me to take a point of personal privilege. There are some people that we have here tonight that want to wish Mark his well wishes, and being parish administrator for 34 years, and we think the world of you, Mark, and there's just a few people here that want to say to you how much of an accomplishment that you've made, not only to yourself being here, but to them also. And the first one I'd like to call up is Mark Huber, representing Senator Mary Landrieu's office. If you would come forward, please. Mark.
Turn around.
See, we always got something going on, Mark. You just never know. You just never know, Mark.
Remember this being on the agenda. You might need to take that vote on emergency items to make sure it's okay for
Hi, Mark. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of Senator Landrieu to congratulate you on 34 years of public service. It's an admirable accomplishment, something that very few people are able to achieve, and achieve in such a noble fashion that you have. I want you to know that Senator Landrieu has taken note of this. She will be sending you a note of congratulations on this matter, and we just can't say how much we appreciate all that you have done over these years of service. And we know that you're going to be leaving this, but we hope that we will still see you making a great impact here in Calcasieu Parish and in Lake Charles. But thank you so much for your service.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it. Before I recognize the other officials that are present tonight, we also have correspondence from Senator David Vitter, whose representative was unable to attend tonight because of some personal reasons, and the text that was read on the floor of the United States Senate reads as this. Mr. President, today I wish to recognize S. Mark McMurray, who has served as Calcasieu Parish Administrator for more than 20 years, who will be retiring April 3rd, 2010. And I would like to recognize his accomplishment, his contributions to the Louisiana community. Mr. Mark McMurray has been credited with raising the level of professionalism in the police jury affairs, as well as making local government work together more effectively. He has been a great asset for the state of Louisiana. Let's give Mark a big round of applause for that, guys. That was from Senator Vitter's office.
It's amazing that they took time away from their health care debate to read that.
Oh, it was worthwhile, Mark, believe me.
Senate.
Well, Mark, we have some other folks here tonight that I think that's going to share some few words to you, that what you've meant to them over the years in serving with them. And one of the things that you hear so much, Mark, around the parish is that when you talk about Calcasieu Parish government, the one thing that comes to mind is professionalism. And that's one of the things that you've created throughout the state by making us as a governing body look extremely good, Mark. So again, we just want to say to you, we thank you for that. And Senator Willie Mount, please come to the mic.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor and privilege to be here today, Mr. McMurray, to recognize you on behalf of not only the Senate as a whole, but specifically 3 senators, and that would be Senator John Smith, Senator Blade Morris, and myself, to present to you today a resolution from the Louisiana Senate recognizing all the wonderful things and contributions you've made, not only as a parish administrator, but just as a father, a brother, a son, a citizen. You've just really made a difference, and you have a lasting footprint not only on us personally, but certainly on the parish of Calcasieu in southwest Louisiana. Good luck.
Thank you, Willie. Next person that's going to come to the mic is one that sat right up here with us. And this is basically a product of what we do as a governing body. And Mike Danahay, we just want to say to you tonight, hey, you've made us proud. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mark, I'm privileged to be here to honor you tonight on 34 years of service to Calcasieu Parish. I have a little commendation here on behalf of the Southwest Louisiana Legislative Delegation, but I just personally want to speak to you about our relationship. And having been here 8 years, but not on that, we had children that grew up together and everything, and so it was quite an eye-opening experience when I first came here to the parish. And as I went along in my career, and now that where I'm at now, I look back and I find out and I realize how wonderful a parish government that we have. And I attribute a lot of that to you. All the years that you spent here, the policies that you put in place made our jobs extremely much more palatable at times. Took a lot of the politics out of it, and that's a great attribute to you. I always was amazed at the way that you could take 15 people and move them in the same direction. You always said you had 15 bosses, And sometimes I wonder if it was the other way around, but however, you were able to make these people work together, and that's an incredible feat to do. At this time, I'd just like to congratulate you on your retirement, and I know that Ann is probably looking at the one ads now to get you into another position. But congratulations and enjoy.
Thank you, Mike.
I forgot to mention, we do have an accommodation from Governor Bobby Jindal also to accompany that. So.
Thank you, Mike. And also representing the city of Lake Charles, we have Mr. Adrian Wallace. Please come forth, Mr. Wallace.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mark, I have some good news and bad news. The bad news is that Mayor Roach is out of town, so he's not here to be able to give you this presentation and express to you his sincere appreciation. The good news, though, is that there's no PowerPoint.
Not tonight, Mark.
The good news is that there's no PowerPoint tonight.
That is definitely a piece of good news.
But on behalf of Mayor Roach and the entire city of Lake Charles, we do want to extend, and I'm very happy to be able to be here. I've only worked with you just a few years, but I've truly enjoyed the years that I've spent working with you. And I know Mayor Roach shares a similar sentiment to thank you for your service and your leadership, your unselfish dedication to your job. And the city of Lake Charles would just like to recognize you as Mark McMurray Retirement Day, March 18th. So today is your day in more ways than one. I looked at this proclamation, something kind of interesting, a degree in religion. Interesting. That's why you've been able to hang on so long and so well. So, again, congratulations. We're very happy for you.
Thank you, Adrian. We're getting a picture with all of them, Mark. Don't leave. We're getting pictures with all of them. Thank you, Adrian. And next we have Mayor Ron LaLaw from the city of Sulphur. Please come forth, Mayor.
Did you know about this? Well, when I was a young, skinny kid with hair growing up in the 60s in Sulphur, I remember one young Mark McMurray playing basketball for our Golden Tours. And I, at that time, thought
You're
Mark...
probably the only person that remembers that.
I thought at that time Mark McMurray was bigger in life, and after all the many years of watching what he's done and what he's done for this great parish of ours, I think even today he's bigger in life than I thought at that time. He, as you know, Mark is a native son from our great city. He comes from a family that, as we always said, we're salt of the earth in our great city. And I realized that a couple of days ago was your mom's birthday, and I think as he and your dad look down upon you, they were very, very proud of you, just as we are, and I thank you very much for all that you've done. We have a proclamation also to let you know that it is March 18th, is Mark McMurray Day in the city. So if you get all these politicians out of here and the rest of it out of here early, then you got about 5 or 6 hours to have it in your city on your day. So.
Did they get my garbage today?
They got it yesterday while we were doing a commercial. They got it. I have a key to the city, and as you know, our slogan is faith, family, and community, and you and your family embody all those many great things. And in 8 years of doing this, I'm still not certain what gate this opens, but I will say this much: your efforts and your tireless efforts, and many of some horrible times in this parish after the hurricanes and all the others, your efforts and the great staff you assembled here, along with these people you work with, you certainly opened up the gates of Calcasieu Parish to so many of us. And God bless you, and we're going to see you more in town, and we're very, very happy to see that. God bless you, and thank you and your family.
And the key. That's a cool key. Cool key.
Thank you, Mayor Ron. Next we have Mayor Dan Cupid from the city of Westlake. Please come forth, Cupid.
I did break away from the NCAA tournament long enough to come down here.
That's why I'm really surprised they're doing this tonight. You got these great games on. I've been figuring.
We have a key for you also, not quite the size of bronze, but it's a pin. City of Westlake appreciates you, Mark, very much. We also have a coffee cup for you and your rocking chair in retirement. Put that right there. And we have a proclamation, and as everyone else, we have proclaimed March the 18th, Mark McMurray Day. And this is for your super effort of doing a good job, and the city of Westlake respects you. Good luck in the future, and God bless you.
Thank you, Dave.
Congratulations.
Can you believe that? Always be seen. City of Westlake give Mark McMurray a key and a cup. You want a coffee, Marianne?
Thank you, Mayor Cupid. Next, we have Mayor Lawrence Hennigan from the City of DeQuincy. Good to have you. Stand again.
You know, serving on the LMA Executive Board in several meetings, I've had other mayors tell me, say, well, what does the police jury do for y'all in your area? And I tell them this, it's a team that really, they take care of all the municipalities as well as the outlying areas of this parish. And it's a great, Calcasieu Parish is a great place, and it's a leader, an administrator like Mark, the things that he does, and he's always willing to be there for us as well as all y'all. I think that's the key to it, you know, and you've done outstanding service. It's been a pleasure working with you. Someone, Danny, just told me back there, said if Buddy was still here, he'd read the whole proclamation. You know, I said, yeah, but they told us not to do that, so I'm not going to do that. But Mark, since all the rest of them proclaimed it your day today, we made tomorrow your day in DeQuincy. That way you can come up and have fun with us tomorrow and this sort of thing, the Railroad Festival. But, you know, it's been a pleasure, and it really has. It's been a true friendship. Wish you luck on your retirement. I know your wife probably got plenty of honeydews for you to do, so you'll be able to catch up on some of that stuff. But it's been a privilege and a pleasure to call you a true friend, and I appreciate all your efforts for us.
Can I get a train ride?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Hennigan. Next, we have Mayor Kenny Stinson from the town of Vinton. Good to see you, Mayor.
See y'all. Thank you, Mr. President. I don't know what else to say except that congratulations. And I'm kind of like Lawrence. You don't have much left of the day, so actually in Vinton tomorrow you have all day, so you can go spend half the day in DeQuincy and you come spend half the day in Vinton.
You could have brought Marcia Ball to sing tonight.
Could have done that. But I, too, I haven't done the mayor's job very long, but you've been very helpful. I know when I first was elected to office, I had a meeting with you and came over here, and we sat down and we talked about Vinton, and you have really helped me a lot personally and professionally as a politician, and I thank you for everything that you have done for the city of Vinton. So on behalf of the elected officials, the employees, and the citizens of Vinton, I'd like to present you with this proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor Stinson. And next we have Mr. C.J. Schaefer from the town of Iowa. Good to see you, Mr. Schaefer.
Thank you, sir. I think these guys, I'm going to change the pace a little bit. I think these guys, all these other mayors, for some reason, lined us up, and I still don't understand why Iowa's always last. They're supposed to be my buddy. Iowa also has a proclamation for you. I'm not going to read it because I think you know everything in it. In fact, I think we got it off your website. So
I really didn't write my own resolution. I don't know what that's.
Trying not to, but we really appreciate what you did for Iowa, especially when you got on the same team with Tony, and y'all two helped us out a bunch. Appreciate it.
Thank you, C.J.
At this time, I would ask for a special request that we could get all of everybody that just presented Mark back up for a group picture. or a group picture, if that's possible.
Mark in the middle.
Wait, one more.
Okay, but that's okay. Then we'll go ahead and move on to that. But no.
Yep. Flip a coin.
Also, you know, everybody talks about the great success that Mark has had and how we all respect him and look up to him as jurors. But one of the things that a lot of us fail to realize in all the success that Mark has had in being our parish administrator for 34 years, he's had to have a heck of a secretary. And that's one person that we're not going to leave out tonight, and that's Miss Colleen Clark. Miss Colleen Clark. Colleen, we've got a few people here that want to say some sweet things about you also. And the first one that I'm going to call up is Mayor Lawrence Henneken from the city of DeQuincy.
You know, Colleen, I asked if we could do this, and not to take away from your glory, Mark, by no means, but Colleen's a hometown girl of DeQuincy, and she's retiring and been a good part of your team for a long time. And Mark has always been good to say that, too. So, Colleen, we have something here. We just got these in DeQuincy. It's Mr. Alexander has done some fleur-de-lis of the city of DeQuincy about the Railroad Museum and everything. So as a gift for your retirement, if you'd come up here, I'd like to present you. You got, other than the one that's in my office, you're getting the first one of these to take home as a gift from the city of DeQuincy. Because we love you and we thank you for all that you've done for the parish, for DeQuincy also.
Beautiful.
Colleen, you might want to stay up there, Colleen. You might not want to sit down just yet. Also, we have two others we're going to bring up. We're going to bring up Senator Willie Mount and State Representative Mike Danahay. Please come forward.
When I first heard that she was going to retire, I said, say it isn't so. I mean, I knew if I could get Miss Colleen, I didn't have to worry about anything. I was going to get Mark because Colleen was going to make it happen. But we've had some great times together, and you've just been a joy to work with for as long as I've been around and working with you, and just want to wish you the very best. And I'd like to present to you a certificate from the State Senate recognizing you and your 33 years of dedicated service, if you'll come forward.
There's more to come. Colleen, Mark, you may have been the brains of this operation, that's the heart.
I think it was the brains, too.
But together, you and Colleen made a terrific team. I really, you know, as I travel the state and also with my colleagues back in Baton Rouge, I'm often amazed that when they tell me the stories about their various parish governments, that I come to appreciate what we have. And we have one of the greatest parish governments in the state of Louisiana. We really do. And that would not be without the efforts of both of you. Colleen, you know, every time I made that phone call, you were there. Pick it up, the cheerful voice. You always found a way to say yes before you said no, and that was been the mantra of, I think, the Calhoun Parish Police Jury for many years. And it's created a great atmosphere to be here. I do have an accommodation for you from the Southwest Louisiana Legislative Delegations, as well as Governor Bobby Jindal. So good luck in your retirement.
Thank you, Mike. Also, we have one more with Mayor Dan Cupid come up from the city of Westlake.
We in Westlake also realized, Colleen, who we had to go to get things done. So we have likewise prepared a packet for you, the same as we did for Mark, and we appreciate you very much.
wants to cover it up now.
Colleen, not letting it go.
Oh, that's your get out of jail free pen. In Westlake.
Guys, we want you to stay because we have one more presentation, okay? We also have received a letter of congratulations for Mark, for the director of the United Methodist Foundation of Louisiana, who could not be here tonight because of a prior engagement. Mark has served as the chairman of this board of trustees for this foundation. All right, our last presentation. This organization is one that's been dear to Mark Hart for quite some time, from what I hear from a lot of people here that know Mark well. And we've got this young man that's going to come forth and present Mark this presentation. And he is Mr. Kevin McMurrin. He's the Boy Scouts of America. And we ask that you would please make your presentation at this time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. President. Mark, on behalf of the Calcasieu Area Council of Boy Scouts of America, we thank you for your passion. And as an Eagle Scout and as an adult leader, you understand what we stand for, and your morals and principles and your core values will make us a perfect executive board member.
We knew that was coming, Mark.
But again, on behalf of the Calcasieu Area Council, we appreciate your dedication and commitment to the Boy Scouts of America and service to your community. Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now, at this time, if I could get all the representatives back up to take this one group picture, we would really appreciate that so much. With Mark in the middle. With Mark and Colleen in the middle.
Mark, much is given, much is expected. I know you're out of your comfort zone. Were you surprised or
You all right? Good to see you, man.
Hey, Ron. How are you?
Try to get as close together as possible. We have a squeeze. Yeah. You ready?
I'm good now.
Take care. Take care. Thank y'all for coming. Jenny,
All right, sir.
Hi, sweetie.
Hey, boy, you know we love you. Come on now, boy.
Hey, Coach. Thank you, baby.
Mayor, good to see you. Always.
Get on at you in one time.
Always.
Hey, Kevin.
After the condemnation.
You gotta do the 6 o'clock.
Oh, it's sick. Ooh, ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Thank you for that.
Mr. President.
Maybe your last chance.
Would all the jurors please take their seats, please? Would all the jurors please take their seats? Thank you, Sandy. I would ask that all the jurors would please take their seats at this time, please.
Oh, great.
President.
Mark, some of the jurors asked that you fill out a blue card. Mark, please, you got the floor.
Mark McMurray, 122 Vine. I'm just going to take a few seconds here. Obviously, as Les said a while ago, if I'd known this was happening, I'd at least worn a tie tonight. I apologize for that. I want to apologize to Tom Hafer back there. I think we're probably sending the Nielsen ratings for CGov down in the toilet with all this fanfare. The attention perhaps makes me a little bit uncomfortable. But I thank y'all for whoever had something to do with putting this together. I appreciate very much the kind words that were offered. It's been one of the pleasures of my life to be able to be of service to the people of the parish, and hopefully I've had maybe some opportunity to have made a difference in the quality of life, not only for all those citizens, but for my own family as well. Because this is the place I was born and reared, and the place I wanted to stay. Didn't really want to go anywhere else. Yeah, I know. Yeah. You're not going to have to measure these comments with a calendar. So I just want to thank y'all for putting this together. It really was a surprise. I really didn't think things could get on the agenda without my knowing about it. But there's always a surprise around every corner. So again, thank you very much. It has been a pleasure working for all of you and the other, what would it be, 62 jurors over the years that had the pleasure to work with. So thank you. Thank you for tonight, and thank you for all the days in the past. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark. At this time, we need to take up, I know I have some comments from some of the jurors, but at this time, we need to take up the 6 o'clock action, so I'd ask that you would please bear with me on this. Hold a public hearing at 6 p.m. as a result of notice provided to the owners of the properties described below in accordance with Article 2, Chapter 6 of the Code of Ordinance of the Parish of Calcasieu, Louisiana, ordering said owners to show cause as to why structures on said properties should not be condemned. Mr. Robertson, come forth, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, members of the jury. Our first structure tonight is Agenda 6.1, and all of these 3 mobile homes have been removed, so there'll be no further action required on this particular agenda item. We'll move on to 6.2. This is Morrow Road. This will be in the Moss Bluff area. There's one house. The owner is the Joshua Lewis Estate, and we recommend this structure be condemned and removed in 30 days.
Move to condemn. Second. I have a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Scott and a second by Mr. Hassan. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this item at this time? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this item at this time? Any other discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Mr. Robinson.
6.3, this is 2110 Nichols Road. This is in the Westlake area. We have one manufactured home with an accessory building. The owner is Rayburn and Dorothy Gentry. We recommend both of these structures be condemned and removed in 30 days.
Second. I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. McMillan. Is there anyone in the audience here today that would like to speak on this item? Hearing none, item moved. Mr. Robinson.
6.4, this is 2580 Bertrand Avenue. This is in the Moss Bluff area. We have one manufactured home. The owner is Victoria Daniel. We recommend this structure be condemned and removed in 30 days.
Move to condemn. I have a motion by Mr. Spell and a second by Ms. Trimmy. Is there anyone here in the audience that would like to speak on this item? Hearing none, item moved. Mr. Robinson.
6.5, 7301 Jarrab Lane. This is in the South Lake Charles area. It's one manufactured home. The owner is Mark Kinman Mills, and we recommend this structure be condemned and removed.
So moved. I have a motion by Mr. Landry and a second by Mr. Collins. Is there anyone here in the audience that would like to speak on this item tonight?
Chris has got stroke.
Hearing none, item moved. Mr. Roberts.
6.6, 5433 Eastern Drive. This is in the South Lake Charles area. There's one house with an accessory building. The owner of record is Paul Donald Bushnell. We recommend both of these structures be condemned and removed in 30 days.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Spell. Is there anyone here in the audience that would like to speak on this item? Hearing none, item so moved. Mr. Robinson.
6.7, 2010 Patton Street, lot number 69. This is in the Sulphur area. It's one manufactured home, owner D&L Trailer Park. Incorporated. We recommend this structure be condemned
So
to
moved.
30 days.
I have a motion by Mr. Fordham and a second by Mr. Collins. Is there anyone here in the audience that would like to speak on this item? Hearing none, item moved. Mr. Roberts?
6.8, this is structure on Highway 14 East in the South Lake Charles area. It's one house. The owner is Boyer Properties, LLC. We recommend this structure be condemned and removed in 30 days.
Move on 6.9.
I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Collins. Is there anyone here in the audience that would like to speak on this item tonight? Hearing none, item moved. Mr. Roberts?
6.9 is 703 Douglas. This is in the DeQuincy area. It's one house. The owner is the Edward D. Smith Estate. We recommend this structure be condemned and removed in 30 days.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion by Ms. Trimmy and a second by Mr. Spell. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this item tonight? Hearing none, item moved. Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 9. Presentation by the Lake Charles Teen Challenge, which, with regard to their Christian faith-based solutions to life-controlling drugs and alcohol problems. Mr. Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight I have the honor of introducing some gentlemen here tonight that, you know, are going to affect our parish, have been affecting our parish in one of the most positive ways you can, and that's working with people to and I like the way they say it, you know, they don't want to rehabilitate people. When you rehabilitate people, you get them back to who they were. Well, who you were got you where you are. So you want to get them to better than they were. So right now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Brother Greg Dill, and he come up with Louisiana Teen Challenge.
Please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Greg Dill. I live in Metairie, Louisiana, and I'd like to say thank you very much for taking your time. I know that this is business time, a lot of important business to take care of in the parish, and thank you for allowing us to share our heart briefly. We have a presentation. It's just 7 minutes long, and we'll give you an overview of Teen Challenge nationally. We're a worldwide program, but we do have 280 programs across the country. And the DVD that you'll see is representative Teen Challenge nationally, and then we'd like to explain what we're doing here in our state and what we would like to do in Calcasieu Parish, and also make ourselves available for any questions you may have afterwards. So if we could see that DVD.
I thought my life was over. I'll never make it to my 20th birthday.
What's the joke?
I look at myself in the mirror, it just feels sick.
If it wasn't for Teen Challenge, I wouldn't be alive today.
I would not be here today. I would be dead.
Teen Challenge actually saved my life.
Once I was blind, but now I see.
It's dramatic as day and night.
We've heard mothers say, I have my son back. I have my daughter back.
Children have their moms and dads again.
This is a place where miracles happen, and my family is one of those miracles.
Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old is gone, the new has come.
Teen Challenge, 50 years of miracles. In the United States, there are now over 200 Teen Challenge locations.
Many times family members will ask, well, what is a day like in Teen Challenge? What will my kids do?
Students will generally begin the day at Teen Challenge with breakfast and devotions, and then attend specially designed classes.
Teen Challenge has a curriculum that we've developed over the last 50 years that really helps them disciple them to figure out how to have relationships with others as well as to get to know themselves.
Many centers offer special educational work programs at either their own training facilities or in the local community.
Our car wash, I have people at the bank that comes to me and says, what do you do to those guys at the car wash? I said, what do you mean? He says, I've never been to a place like it. Besides being, clean, I said, I've never seen so many happy people. And I said, oh, well, no, those are all drug addicts in rehabilitation. What?
On-the-job training helps students learn interpersonal and technical skills. It develops discipline and reinforces responsibility. It also serves to encourage students to become active in their own treatment, as well as foster the habits that are needed for stable lives.
I've always said a good faith-based evangelical rehab program is a little bit like a home, a little bit like a church, a little bit like the Army, and a little bit like a Bible school.
The student's day may end with personal recreation. They might spend time on their daily assigned chores around the center, attend group choir practice, or take time to study and complete their homework. As Teen Challenge has grown over the years, so has its range of programs. New and innovative concepts, like the Home of Hope, allow women and their children to live together while they begin to heal their lives and relationships.
I would have him laying in the crib right there, and I would turn my back and stick a needle in my arm. And I thought that that was the way I was to live for the rest of my life. I didn't think that I could ever stop.
When I see a mom come in with a young child, and this child has been battered and abused, and her mother was out there addicted, prostituting herself, and now here at Teen Challenge, they've fallen in love with God, and the mom falls in love with her child all over again.
2006 would be the first Christmas that I spent completely sober with my daughter and my son, and got to actually spend quality time and quantity time with them, interacting with one another, and their mom was completely sober.
The program has continued to grow to meet the needs of communities. Today, drug prevention strategies like after-school programs aimed towards at-risk youth are as much a part of the Teen Challenge ministry as rehabilitation.
What you're experiencing is hope, because so many of the kids who live in our neighborhood don't have a lot of hope.
In this square-mile radius, we have around 80, 90 gangs.
The kids see the helicopters at night, they hear the gunshots.
And most of these kids adapt in a way where they have to become cold-hearted themselves.
And I don't want to go to another funeral. I don't want to see another kid suffer that kind of fate.
Teen Challenge, this is where we show the compassion. Most of these kids, they don't never hear, "I love you," until they come here.
And so this is a safe haven. It has a table that they can actually work on to do homework and actually plan and dream about a future.
We help them with their homework, but we also bond with them. We let them know where we grew up, and that they can do it too if we're doing it as well.
But more important than the curriculum or classes, programs or training, is the foundation of every Teen Challenge program in the world.
The Jesus factor is the change factor of Teen Challenge.
You know, without the intervention of Christ, there's no hope for these people. They're going to end up dead.
We can give them the food, we can put the clothes on their back, we can give them a haircut, but that only goes so far.
We believe that Jesus Christ is the answer and the cure for people's life-controlling issues.
And in this program, God teaches us to be broken. And when we start to fall back, it's because we try to put ourselves back together.
I thought I had all the answers. And I found out that I don't have all the answers, that Jesus Christ has the answers.
I'm a better mother. I'm happy to be here. I was dying before I came into the program.
I thank God for bringing me here today. I thank you for the restoration He's done with my family.
And all these men up here have been through the war, but the battle's been won thanks to Jesus Christ.
There are times when I look around and I don't see much evidence of God at work. But then I see the lives that are transformed at Teen Challenge, and that helped to dispel my doubts and restores my faith.
They were dying. And all of a sudden they came to life, and they started to be the boys that I brought up, the little kids that I went to Disneyland with.
Just seeing one life changed, and in meeting some of the young people we have as they've come into the program and how they look, and then see them when they finish the program, that is the most rewarding thing.
Thank you for helping change and mold our child.
We've heard mothers say, I have my son back. I have my daughter back.
And I thank you that you gave my son another chance.
To learn more about Teen Challenge or to make a contribution, visit www.teenchallengeusa.com.
Well, that's us nationally. Internationally, we've had Teen Challenge in the state of Louisiana for 35 years. It started as a men's induction program in New Orleans, which is still currently running today. But since that conception of that one program, we've been able to establish an adult female induction center. Total program is 12 months long. We don't charge any money for the whole time that they're there, and it's divided up into 2 facilities. The first 4 months is the induction phase, and there is an adult female program in New Orleans as well with our men's program. They spend 4 months with us, and then they move on to 2 separate facilities. Our training center in Dodson, Louisiana, which is directed by my executive director, Gary Bentley, and we have another training center for the women that they go to in Winfield. The director's not with us today. But what we would like to do and what we feel drawn to do in Calcasieu Parish, and we don't have an exact location because we don't have, no one's given us a building yet, so we don't know our location, but we're confident, and without not wanting to sound over-religious, I feel like the Lord is drawing us to this side of the state. One day I was looking at our map and I was noticing where our current programs are located, and I noticed that Southwest Louisiana is not represented by Teen Challenge, and I didn't like that. And at the time, I didn't have James Smothers, who is going to be our director with his wife Amy, who is grew up in Sulphur, born and raised in Sulphur, and they they worked in Teen Challenge in Texas for a number of years, and they've moved back into the Sulphur area. And James and Amy are going to be our directors. And what we have hopes and intentions to do, you saw the Home of Hope that's located in Phoenix, Arizona. We would like to do that, and we feel like the Lord is wanting us to do that in this area. We don't know where, but our intentions is to have an adult female program that they have the ability to bring their children. Very often we'll have a lady that is not willing to leave their child with somebody. They don't have anybody to leave them to, or they just really would rather not leave their child with somebody and go away for a year. This will give us an opportunity to not lose those ladies, give them an opportunity to get residential treatment, but then also give them the added bonus of reestablishing their relationship with their children and, really learning good parenting skills, which, in all likelihood they hadn't been able to gain just because of their usage. So this is our hopes, this is our intentions, and our desire tonight is just simply to inform y'all of our intentions, to let the parish know that this is what we would like to do, so that if there's somebody out there that's been trying to sell their property for the last 10 years and hasn't been able to, and says, you know what, maybe I'll just donate it. It hasn't worked me selling it, so I'm going to give it away. That's how we mostly, and I won't bore you with those statistics, but most of the property we have across the state, which is probably close to the $1 million range now, has been given to us. So we're not going to wait on that. If we get a good deal and if the Lord provides the money, we want to move, because it's our intention to start this program yesterday. So I don't want to take any more of your time. If there's any questions that we would like to be able to answer that if we could. And James, would you stand up? This is James Smothers. He is going to be the director for the facility when it opens, not if, but when it opens, whether next week or next year or 2 years from now. We'll just have to see how it develops. But they've opened up a referral center. We do have an office in Sulphur, so that they'll be able to do and have been doing referrals. If somebody needs a program, James will do the interview there and then make the appropriate. If it's a male, they'll send it our way. Or we have another induction center also in Ruston, Louisiana. Or if it's a female, he'll make the contact to our New Orleans Center for Women. So if there's any questions about Teen Challenge in general, or if I've just been vague in what our intentions are here in Calcasieu Parish, then we'd like to open ourselves up for questions.
At this time, is there any comments from the jury? Mr. Scott.
Yeah, Brother Greg, if you could mind, could you explain your funding for this program?
Whoever wants to give us money. We, because of our faith-based position, I think that you can see in that DVD, we're not ashamed, to name the name of Jesus. So that, unfortunately, keeps us from receiving direct government funding. But the Lord's been able to, get around that for us financially over the last 33 years, and that won't change. So, but we're on numerous churches, and in that packet, there's a number of pieces of material, and I'm sure you won't want to look at it now, but later on, whenever it's convenient for you, we have about 4 pages of individuals, churches, businesses that have been kind to Teen Challenge over the years from this area. I think I asked our bookkeeper to maybe go as far as Jennings, but I know it's Sulphur and DeRidder and Lake Charles and Sweet Lake, and so it's close around this area. So that's how we're funded. You also noticed in the video we're very industry oriented. It's not my personality; it's more Gary Bentley's personality to ask. I'm not comfortable asking for money. That's not my strong point, although it is my job title, job description. Because of that, we've opened up a number of businesses that we'll work for our own money. We have commercial greenhouses as well. We just have been donated a restaurant in Dodson, Louisiana. The mayor, Dodson and his wife, are retired, and they also owned a restaurant, so they've given that to Teen Challenge. So we're going to be in the restaurant business. We don't have a clue what to do, but we're going to do it. So I think you can make some money. So it's just through donations. Obviously we're a nonprofit organization, so it's through donations of businesses, individuals, and churches that fund us.
All right, one more thing, Mr. President. I know it sounds a little new to a lot of people, but I've been involved in the Teen Challenge, and I know graduates of Teen Challenge, and know the Brother Gary and Brother Greg for many years, and this is somewhere that's top of the line, and their standard is set high, and it's set high for a reason. So I just commend you on your work that you do, and I just want to offer up, it might be hard to find them sometimes, but I'm offering up myself if someone's trying to get a hold of Teen Challenge, that you can come through me, and I'll get you connected anytime, day or night. Thank you, Brother Greg, Brother Gary, Brother James.
Thank you, Council. We appreciate your time.
We thank you for your presentation. Thank you so much.
I just had one question, if I could. What is the number of acres that you would be looking for to be able to accomplish what you would want to do here?
Well, that is a good question. Because we will be dealing with women with children, it obviously has to be larger than our centers for the single men or women. Those are easy. Just get a big house and you can operate. Gary, help me out with this, because you are the director of our men's program, which handles 30 gentlemen at that facility. It would probably have to be a minimum of 5 acres. A nursing home is a possibility to be donated to us in West Monroe. That's still in the works. Something like that is absolutely ideal. So that I just, when Gary told me that was being donated, I know James felt the same way. Man, rats, how come that couldn't be in Lake Charles? Well, it's got to be in West Monroe. I don't want to be in West Monroe. I want to be in Lake Charles. But something of that nature is ideal. There's an orphanage on Orphanage Road in is it Sulphur? Mossville. That had showed some potential for a while, but I'm afraid that those negotiations has broken down. But that would have been ideal. There were buildings on it already, dormitories already. I mean, it was an orphanage, so that would have been ideal. So something of that nature. It's going to have some sort of size to it, so that you'd want to have at least 20 ladies. So if she has 1 or 2 children, each one of those ladies has 1 or 2 children each. You're dealing with some space.
Thank you, Mark. Brother Gary, would you like to come up and share a few words with us?
My name's Gary Bentley. I'm actually a graduate of Teen Challenge. 97, I was homeless on the streets of New Orleans due to a pretty bad cocaine addiction, alcohol addiction, just made some bad choices in life. But since then, I graduated Teen Challenge in 1998. Just really felt strongly called to the ministry and never left. So, and since then, my wife and I pioneered a our men's training center in Dodson, Louisiana, which is now a 40-acre facility which will house 36 men. And the ministry is continuing to grow. And we've just acquired a building in Shreveport for another men's induction center. So we're covering, you know, the men, and it's not like we have to, at this point, really turn a lot of men away for help. But the women, we're seeing that. It's very, very important that we get something done for the women, especially like Brother Greg said, women with children. Just here recently, we had a lady leave the Women's Center. Right or wrong, her leaving, you know, I can't say that, but she left behind her kids. So anything that we can do to help that, we just, you know, that's why we're here, you know, and James has the burden to make this happen. But as a graduate, okay, I know my mom's glad Teen Challenge existed. My dad's glad. My brother's glad. And a lot of other people are glad. My wife's glad. I didn't know her prior to Teen Challenge, but I've had a real blessed life for 13 years because of Teen Challenge. And thank you all for giving us this window. Bless you for that. And we appreciate Dennis has been a blessing for Teen Challenge for several years. He helped us with our thrift store in Winfield. We needed a metal building. I'm going to toot his horn. And he came up and helped us with that, and he's been a major blessing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brother James, would you like to come up and share a few words with us? We'd love to have you.
James Smothers. I graduated the program in 99. I went on to Bible college, met my wife there. I grew up in Texas, and my wife grew up here. We came down here a year ago in April, and I've spent most days in the last 12 months getting out, meeting folks like yourself, pastors, and people in this community in Calcasieu Parish. And I've really tried to meet the people, and what I'm finding out, and I'm not going to tell you something that you don't already know, is there's a major drug problem in the Calcasieu Parish. And if we don't step in and do something, nobody else is going to. I'm speaking my heart, so I'm passionate about it. I'm the person that's going to be here. We know that this program works, and we know that we've got a good success rate. We know that we can help some women and some kids out. And I'm still just figuring out what the police jury does exactly. It's kind of a different entity from, you know, something that goes on in Texas. But I'm sure that you guys are the movers and the shakers from what I'm seeing of this community. And I'd love to partner up with you somehow. Maybe we could come together and figure out how we can make a difference in our community. If you have, you know, some free time coming up and you want, I'd love to, you know.
Days.
Sure. Absolutely.
Couple
I'm sure Mama might want to work with some kids. I don't know. But I'm glad to be here. We are here to stay. And I'm just looking forward to you know, helping y'all out and seeing what we can do together.
Thank you, Brother James. We thank all of you for coming tonight, guys. Thank you so much. And I hope in the near future, if we can be of any assistance as a governing body to you all, please let us know. Dennis will be more than happy to keep us in touch to what you guys are doing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
At this time, I would ask that we would move to item number 21. Take up at this time, and we'll come back to the other item. Item number 21, consideration of adopting a resolution supporting the efforts of the Lake Charles Harbor and Terminal District in their request for Congress to include dredge funding in the amount of $42.7 million in the federal budget for fiscal year 2011 for the Corps of Engineers to perform the necessary operations and maintenance of the Calcasieu River and Pass project. I have a motion by Ms. Trimming and a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Mr. Landry.
I got a discussion. You know, it's sad that this is on here every year. It's like they're always having to beg for the money. Why doesn't it just come? They know the thing it has to be dredged every year, and it seems like every year they just have to beg for it. And then it finally comes through at the last minute, probably after it's 6 months too late. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, it's not our fault. It's not the port's fault. You have to ask. I know we have to go through this, but then next year it's going to be on here again. Then you have to beg again. Seems like it shouldn't be like that. Maybe Mark can fix that after he retires.
I hope so. I hope so.
I got an answer.
Oh, good.
Ms. Trimmie.
You should have gone to the legislative conference with Mr. Sayes in Washington, D.C. You should have met with Mary Landrieu. You should have met with Lou Stanley. You should have met with Charlie Melanson. I did when I was in January when I was there. And a lot you're going to learn. Staying in the Napa store is not going to answer your questions.
It probably won't, but I don't think I have enough patience to go to Washington. I probably should stay in Calcasieu.
No. You've got to go.
Good for you, Ms. Trimmie. Thank you, Ms. Trimmie.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment on this item?
Mr. President, Channing Hayden, who is the Director of Navigation and Security, is here if you have any specific questions about this. And this is pretty much a recurring request, but it's got to be done. We've got to, you got to ask. And I think that's what the Port Commission has asked of us, is just to support their asking. But if you have some specific questions, Mr. Hayden could answer those, I'm sure.
Okay. Will you please come to the mic? Please state your name and address for the record. Mr. McMillan has the floor.
Channing Hayden, Director of Navigation and Security, Port of Lake Charles, 150 Marine Street, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Good evening.
Good having you here. I did want to ask a question on your silting in. Can you give us how much the channel is silting in, and maybe a yearly basis? And I know we about a 40-foot depth is what we draw, and how I guess really give you a chance to say how important this is to the economics of all Calcasieu and Cameron Parish as well as the United States.
We had a study done on the economic impact of the port. It's about 2 years old now. We generated 31,000 direct and indirect jobs as a result of the port operations. So it is a very big economic engine for Lake Charles, for Calcasieu, and the surrounding area. The channel is designed for a 40-foot ship to come in, and right now we're having problems. I've had a chain of emails yesterday and today about some emergency dredging because we have ships that are at 38 feet and 36.9 that can't get in. Mr. Landry was correct. We beg Congress every year, and I have to report we haven't been as successful as it may seem that we have been. The President's budget this year is $14.7 million. We need $42 million. Historically, this channel has been funded at about 50% of what its needs are, and we're playing catch up. We have a lot of deferred maintenance to do on the disposal facilities. With $14 million in FY11, I don't quite know how we're going to pull it off. In the past, we've gotten additional money through hurricane supplementals. I keep telling the folks up in Congress we hope not to have to pray for a hurricane in order to get the channel dredged. But that's really what we have lived on in the past, the supplementals from Rita, Ike, and some of the stimulus funds. We certainly appreciate your help and your concern in the past, and we would very much appreciate it again this year. Mr. McMillan, I hope I answered all of your questions.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan. Is there any other questions by the jury? We thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to go ahead and move back to item number 10. Receive report from facility management staff with reference to the police jury junior golf program. Mr. Wainwright.
Thank you, Mr. President. In your binders, we have some proposed revisions to the junior golf program bylaws, and those come from some meetings that we've started this year with the advisory panel. I just want to give you a few things we've been doing this year on behalf of this program. As you all know, the Masters is in a week or so, so golf is really kicking off, so it's kind of a timely thing. Mr. Derek Smith with Mallard Cove Golf Course is the panel chairman. I don't know if he's here tonight. but he does most of the work on your behalf. It keeps this thing running. We've been meeting with him and the rest of the representatives, and through those meetings, they've asked for a few changes. Before I highlight some of those things, I want to let y'all know a few things that they've been able to accomplish this year through Derek's efforts, through Jerry Trahan's efforts, in trying to get some renewed interest in this program. In 2009, there were 16 what we call clinics and 6 camps established for the junior golf program, which sounds pretty good, but in 2010 we have scheduled 56 clinics and 10 camps, which is substantial. Where that growth has come from and where that new momentum has come from is we've gotten new players onto the advisory panel, basically. We've invited them into the room and we've started discussing this with them. The bulk of the changes that are in your bylaws that we're asking for are to allow each one of these venues to have a representative on the panel. So that sort of everybody has a fair shot at helping run and guide the program. The venues is something that has changed in this year that we're requesting. In the past, it's been basically just a couple golf courses, but we're trying to extend that to some of the driving ranges and even to the playground and recreation districts so that they can attract more kids into the program. So I don't know if you've had an opportunity to thoroughly review the bylaw changes, but essentially it's allow more people on the panel, representatives from these facilities who know how to get kids out to the golf courses and they know how to train them. The funding is still there in the program to pay for these clinics. Each clinic, we pay a $30 a clinic fee for each kid. At camps, it's $50 to $80 depending on the type of camp, if it's 1 day or 2 day, and the different things that go on at those camps. So the original funding for the program is still very solid at this time, and with the goal is just to get more kids into it, and all your changes in the bylaws essentially are geared to that, and the recommendations of the guys and the pros who've been in the room and have asked for this. With that, I'll answer any specific questions you might have. But, Mr. President.
Are there any questions by the jury? Mr. Size.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome.
Where are you supposed to get the names for the additional people to be on the committee to come from?
I don't think I have them. I don't think I have them handy, Mr. Size. Names represent at this time all the golf courses except the new course at Westlake, I believe, are represented. Putters and New Moon Driving Range are those two facilities, and a couple of the rec districts. I can provide you that. I just do not have them tonight. We need to change the bylaws first to allow more panel members to be invited. The panel itself will actually make a recommendation. Those names will come to you in a subsequent meeting. We really couldn't offer to add the names until we had the bylaws changed. So that's the reason why it's going to take one more step.
No, the additional people that you're talking about bringing in. You say you're going to increase the number from 6 to 15.
Yes, sir.
No more than.
To a maximum of 15, which would cover all of the local venues in the parish this time.
Mr. Size, Mr. President, if I could kind of
go ahead, Mr. Beam.
As Alan mentioned, it was a fairly small group when this first started a few years ago. When this was, I think most of you know, was after the Tiger Woods Foundation event, and this followed it. But because of the Community Center Playground District and Recreation District, we really want to get them more involved. So we upped those as well as the golf venues to give as much representation as we can and get more of those districts and those golf venues involved, and everybody feel like they have an opportunity to participate. So that's really the two big groups that have been changed as far as new membership.
Thank you, Mr. Beam. Mr. Size, do you have any more comments?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alan, I have a comment. One of the things that I think that has probably come across my desk from a lot of the parents and stuff that, you know, you have a lot of kids in Calcasieu Parish that want to get into the game of golf and actually find out what it's all about. But I think the problem has come in being able to have kids that have clubs. And I know that can be expensive. Is there anything that we can do for those kids that don't have golf clubs that we can somehow supply them with clubs to start? Because that's basically, I think, to hold off on a lot of kids that actually want to learn how to play the game of golf but just don't have the means to get clubs.
I'm going to ask Jerry Trahan to come to the mic. I think he's in the back. They have had some discussion along those lines, and some of the courses that were originally in it, there were some clubs, and they did have basically some opportunities in that regard. Jerry may know better answers than me, having been through most of the meetings.
Mr. Trahan.
Yes. The original committee or advisory committee did early on purchase some clubs, and those clubs can be used during the clinics. They will assign those clubs out and get them back as the children drop out, but we do provide clubs for them, and we're continuing to work in that way, and some of these funds are being used for that.
Thank you, Mr. Trahan. Is there any other questions by the jury? Mr. Scott.
And Mr. Jerry, what's that age group in junior golf?
Ages 7 to 17.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trahan. Any other questions this time? Thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to item number E.
Does a motion?
Oh, we have report. Do we have a motion?
Move to receive.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Size and a second by Dr. Mackey. Is there any discussion? Any objection?
Point of order, Mr. President. Do we need to approve the revisions to the bylaws? Is that the motion that needs to be?
Yes, sir. That would be our recommendation.
I would make a motion that we approve the amendment.
I have a motion by Mr. Fordham and a second by Ms. Griffin that we approve the bylaws as stated. Any other discussion? Any objection? Item number 10 passes. Item number 11, take appropriate actions on applications for liquor and beer permits. Mr. Vickers.
Mr. President, we have two special events permits tonight. We recommend they both be approved.
To approve.
I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Spell. Is there any objection? Hearing none. Item number 11 passes. Item number 12. Consideration of approval of payments on all current invoices. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. Andrepont. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 12 passes. Item number 13, consideration of approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the police jury dated February 18th, 2010. I have a motion by Mr. Spell and a second by Mr. Scott. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 13 passes. Item number 14, consideration of approval of the Budget Committee report dated March 18th, 2010. Mr. McFillan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would ask that I'd make a motion to approve the Budget Committee's report for all items on this Budget Committee were voted on unanimously by the committee.
Second.
And with that being said, I won't read these. They're all in there, so you can read them. But it's various things in Ward 1 and Ward 4, as well as different projects. So,
Mr. McMillan, I mean, we have time if you want to read through those. We'll be more than happy.
certainly will. You know, I have no
If you
problem
want,
with that,
you
Mr.
know,
President, if you'd
if
like.
the jurors would like to hear those
3-1
items.
was Waterworks
I wasn't
District
here.
1 of Ward 1, $45,000. 3-2 was Ward 1, Fire Protection District 1, $12,000 for VHF radios. Ward 3 of 3, Ward 1, Gravity Drainage District, Ward 1, $100,000 for engineering professional services related to North Perkins Ferry outfall. 3-4 of Ward 1, Gravity Drainage District Number 8 of Ward 1, $8,942 for purchase of drainage material pipe related to drainage improvements from Part View Part 2. 3-5 was $20,800 from Ward 4 allocation, $4,800 from Police Jury District 15, Gravity Drainage District 5 of Ward 4, $25,600 for installation of culverts, catch basins, drains for North Maplewood Drive. 3-6 Ward 4, $28,600 from Ward 4 allocation, $6,600 from Police Jury District 15, allocation Gravity Drainage District, Ward 5, Award 4, $32,200 for installation of culverts, catch basin, and drainage for Beauregard Street drainage lateral. 3-7, Ward 5, Ward 7, consideration and request by Waterworks District 14 and Ward 4 on behalf of their district, as well as Waterworks District Ward 10 of Ward 7 for assistance in meeting a 55% required match for the USDA grant funding. 3-8, Ward 8, fire protection, $6,500 for purpose of extension communication towers. 3-9, Ward 8, $6,500 for purpose of extension of communication towers in this district, Ward 8, fire protection number 1. Item number 4 was consideration making recommendation of funding request in the amount of $30,000 for the North Lake Charles Redevelopment Authority for the first year operation fund, said funding being allocated from the Economic Development Allocation Fund. Item 5 was consideration making recommendation reference to funding request $35,000 from Playground Center District 2 of Ward 4 SPAR and cross related to the LHSSA Girls Fast Pitch 56 softball tournament to be held in Sulphur April 30th to May 1st, 2010, with said funding being allocated from the Economic Development Allocation. Item 6 is making a recommendation reference to request from Lake Charles Regional Airport to amend the scope project previously funded by the police jury to provide for the purchase of equipment. This amount was $55,687.96. All these items were discussed at the budget meeting and were voted in unanimously. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan. I have a motion by Mr. McMillan and a second by Ms. Trimmy. Is there any discussion?
All that money, Mr. Chairman, in Ward 3, I didn't even see the name come up in there. Couldn't get us any money in Ward 3?
Ward 3. That would be you guys to put it on the budget committee, Mr. Scott.
I thought you looked out for us as the chairman. I thought you tried to.
Well, you put it on there, we'd see if we can get it through the system.
We went through that pretty fast, Mr. Scott.
Thank you.
Mr. Landry.
I mean, I agree. You got Spell up there in Ward 1. I never saw him on there that much. He's spending money up there like a drunk sailor. You did pretty good, Spell. I don't know how you got all that money, but you did it. My goodness. I do have one other, like a real question.
Go ahead, Mr. Landry.
On number 6, on that money for the airport, was that originally, for the parking lot improvements out there? Is that what that was for, or actually, where are we on that deal? Mr. Smith might know.
Would that be legal counsel? Mr. Smith, would you have any comments on that for us?
Included improvements to the parking areas and costs that associated with the new terminal building that were ineligible for the federal money that went into that.
Okay. And then there was some left, and so then they
They're asking
requested.
just for a reappropriation of that, no new funding, just a reallocation approval of the remainder of the funding.
And if I could, I guess, Mr. Smith, is that project complete out there? Is the parking lot where it needs to be, or is there still more work to be done? Or
we're working on an expansion at this time. What the deal is here is you all approved money to be used in a certain fashion.
Right.
We have some equipment that needs to be replaced, and we couldn't use it without your approval, so that's the reason for the request.
so do you think the parking lot is going to be 100% complete and where it needs to be by the time the road is finished?
We are hopeful. That's what's going on right now. We're hopeful with that.
It would be a shame that the road's finished and then now the parking lot's torn up at the airport, so hopefully all that's going to come together.
It's not tearing up the current. We're building.
But adding on to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Landry. Thank you, legal counsel. Any other questions? Mr. Scott.
Mr. Landry, did you mean Gulf Highway Road or the airport road?
I'm talking about the Gulf Highway Road.
Yeah, they're actually redoing a whole road at the airport with additional parking, and it'll be done way before Gulf Highway's done, so.
Good. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Mr. McMillan.
Yes, sir. Also on the $35,000 allocations for Fast Pitch 56, during our discussion, there was a number of jurors that expressed what a great use of money this is on behalf of the parish and the economic development it does for the parish, as well as what a great thing it is for the kids that come here to Calhoun Parish. So I want to make sure that a number of jurors did express that during the budget meeting.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan. Any other comments from the jury? Mr. Andrew Point.
Just to comment on what Hal said, the economic development is about $4.5 million now.
for the area.
It gets bigger each year. Thank you, Mr. Andrew Point. Any other discussion? Hearing none, item number.
I had
Mr.
one more
Landry,
comment. I
I'm
was
sorry.
going to thank Chairman McFillan for reading it, but to inform us, because had he not done that, we wouldn't have known what went on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Landry. Item number 14 passes. Item number 15.
No necessary.
There's no action on that. Let me just go ahead and read into the record. Take appropriate action on RZ 04-002-10, which is a request by Charlotte Griffin Vincent Estates to rezone from R2 to RM to allow multifamily residential development, 33 duplexes. No action. We'll move on to item number 16. Consideration of adopting an ordinance rescinding ordinance number 5719
So
adopted
moved.
on October 22nd, 2009, which allowed the extension of ordinance number 5158 adopted on October 5th, 2006, which allowed Mr. David Papanina to purchase the following described property for $10,500. Agenda note states that it is the recommendation of the Director of the Division of Planning and Development to re-advertise the sale of the above-mentioned property. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. Scott. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 16 passes. Item number 17, consideration of adopting a resolution
Move on
approving a
17.
memorandum of understanding between the police jury and the Louisiana Department of Health and Hospitals for Calcasieu Parish to participate in beach monitoring program during the 2010 calendar year. I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Andrew Point. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 17 passes. Item number 18, consideration of adopting a resolution approving an agreement between the police jury and the voluntary homeowners of grant assistance through the Hazardous Mitigation Assistance Program.
Move on 18.
I have a motion by Mr. Size and a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 18 passes. Item number 19, consideration of adopting a resolution adopting the Calcasieu Parish multi-jurisdictional hazardous mitigation plan update
Second.
and all official maps related thereto. I have a motion by Mr. Andrew Point and a second by Dr. Mackey. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 19 passes. Item number 20, consideration adopting a resolution providing covenants of the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury with electorate of Calcasieu Parish pertaining to a special election to be held in the unincorporated areas of Ward 2 through 8 in Calcasieu Parish, Louisiana, on May 1st, 2010.
Move on 20.
Second.
Mr. Beam.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a follow-up to an item you passed back in January at the call of the election. You had requested, you wanted to make sure there was a covenant regarding the convenience centers that have been a big part of this proposal. Many of you over the years have said that's what you hear from citizens. So we've attached that as number 20, and that's actual text of the covenant we're seeking approval for. But we also wanted to use this opportunity to give you a handout, and I think Alan's got copies, so that when we go out and talk about the ballot items in May, that people know what these convenience centers are, what to expect, and this gives you an idea of what we will be telling them, but we want you to be aware of what we're saying and be comfortable with it. But the covenant is just the attachment for number 20. The handout is not an actual part of the covenant, but if you have any feedback on that over the next few days or questions, let us know. But this is what we're actually going to put information on the web and other things when we talk, or any of you talk regarding the May 1st tax.
Thank you, Mr. Beaman. I think that's really important that we all can be on the same page when we do go out and discuss these issues in the community so that our constituents can be aware of that. Mr. Fordham.
Yeah, Brian, I think this is a great thing. I've had a lot of comments over the past couple of years about these pickup sites that we could put across the parish. Cameron Parish has some of these things, and I've had a lot of comments about how wonderful of an idea this is going to be. So I commend y'all, and I think it's going to be a good use of these funds. Thank you.
I have a motion by Mr. Fordham and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, item number 20 passes. We've already done number 21. We'll move on to item number 22. Consideration of adopting a resolution approving the renewal of a lease agreement between the police jury and Ms. Sylvia C. Pastrano for office space on a portion of the third floor of the Magnolia Building. I have a motion by Mr. Stelly, and a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 22 passes. Item number 23, consideration of adopting a resolution approving a renewal of a lease agreement between the police jury and the Southwest Louisiana Legal Service beginning April 1st, 2010 for office space on a portion of the 4th floor of the Magnolia Building.
Move on 23.
I have a motion by Mr. Collins and a second by Mr. Stelly. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 23 passes. Item number 24, consideration of adopting a resolution approving a user agreement between the police jury and the Southwest Louisiana
Move on
Bar
24.
Foundation, providing for the temporary utilization of 2 offices on the 4th floor of the Magnolia Building, adjacent to the Southwest Louisiana Legal Service office. I have a motion by Mr. Size and a second by Dr. Mackey. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 24 passes. Item number 25, consideration of adopting a resolution approving an amendment to the Cooperative
Move
Endeavor
on
Joint
25.
Service Agreement between the police jury, the City of Sulphur, and the Calcasieu Parish School Board to provide for the installation of placement of solar-operated flashing lights at LeBlanc Middle School. I have a motion by Mr. Fordham and a second by Mrs. Griffin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 25 passes. Item number 26, consideration of adopting a resolution authorizing the Office of Juvenile Justice Service to submit a grant application in an amount up to $250,000 and any revisions thereafter to the U.S. Department of Justice Bureau of Justice Assistance to implement the strengthened juvenile justice mental health and substance abuse collaboration in order to divert. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. Size. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 26 passes. Ms. Trimmer, did you have something?
No, I'm just in a daze.
Is that good or bad, Ms. Trimmer?
I'm thinking about Chris. I got Chris on my mind.
We were just.
It was called
Yeah.
ESP.
I just
you know?
saw the
We were
movement back and
talking
forth
back
on you
and
guys.
forth, but we can do it.
I just
like
wanted to
this.
make sure that everything was okay, Ms. Trimmer. Thank you. Item number 27, consideration of adopting a resolution authorizing the president of the police jury to execute the necessary documents for acquisition of right-of-way for Ms. Martha Colon, Joe F. Taylor, and George Taylor on Edgerly DeQuincy Road in Ward 4. I have a motion by Ms. Trimming. Second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion?
Thank you, Ms.
Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 27 passes. Item number 28, consideration of adopting a resolution authorizing the president of the police jury
Move
to
on
execute the
28.
necessary documents for donation of right-of-way for East Prairie Lake properties on Carbina in Ward 3. I have a motion by Mr. Spell and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 28 passes. Item number 29, consideration of adopting a resolution authorizing the
29.
president of the police jury to execute the necessary documents for a temporary construction servitude for Kraus and McMahon and Elgerly DeQuincy Road in Ward 4.
So
I
moved.
have a motion by Mr. Andrew Point and a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion?
Just look past it.
Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 29 passes. Item number 30.
Move to approve
Consideration
nominations.
approving the following nominations for appointment to the newly created Moss Bluff Advisory Task Force. And
Is
those,
there a second on that? Okay.
yes, I have a second by Mr. Collins. And I have a motion by Mr. Spell and a second by Mr. Collins. Let me just go through the agenda notes so we can just know what we did on that at the last meeting. On February 4th, 2010, the police jury approved the process of developing the River Bluff property, which included the appointment of a River Bluff Advisory Task Force. President Guidry designated Mr. Collins, Mr. Spell, Ms. Trimmy as police jury liaisons to the task force. Each nominee has been contacted and has agreed to serve. Any discussion? Any objection on that? Mr. Spell.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I have discussed this briefly with staff, but there were a lot of people that expressed interest in this, which I think was exciting, to have the interest and the enthusiasm. I would just like to make sure that to continue that and encourage it, that those people that had expressed interest but might not have had the opportunity to serve, that we keep them involved and make sure that they have ample opportunity to have input in the process. But I think that the liaisons worked very well together, and I was very appreciative of their input. And I think Brian and staff did a great job getting all these people together and getting things rolling. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for those comments, Mr. Spell. Thank you. Item number 31, consideration of adopting a resolution approving a contract for architectural service between the police jury and Steve Schultz, architect, for the plans and specifications related to the construction of a restroom facility and improvements to the boat launch, parking, and site lighting at Riverside Park. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. Fordham. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 31 passes. Item number 32, consideration adopting a resolution approving a letter agreement supplement between the police jury and Associate Design Group for professional services related to the replacement of the chiller at the Calcasieu Correctional Center. I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Graham.
Move to accept the low bid of Sybil Construction on the
Sandy
frontage
moving ahead
road.
on this.
I want to get out of here.
All right. Number 32 passes.
I'm going to make the motion on 33.
Item number 33, take appropriate actions on bids received by the parish purchasing agent on March 10th, 2010 for Calcasieu Parish Project number 2010-15, construction of I-10 South Frontage Road in Calcasieu Parish. There were 5 bids that were turned in: Civil Construction, McManus, Gilchrist Construction, HD Truck and Tractor, J.B. James Construction. The agenda note states that the parish engineer recommends that the low bid in the amount of $4,187,396.15 of civil construction be accepted. I have a motion by Ms. Trimmy and a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 33 passes. Item number 34, consideration of authorizing the parish purchasing agents to advertise for a request for qualifications for a plan, training, and exercise consultant for the Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness as required by the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness under the State Homeland Security Program. I have a motion by Ms. Griffin and a second by Mr. Landry. Is there any discussion?
Question.
Any objection? Ms. Griffin.
I wonder where did this grant come from?
Excuse me, Mr. President. Federal grant.
A federal grant. Does that have anything to do with the Recovery Act?
Dick can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe. I think that's totally separate from Homeland Security funds over the years. And they have a requirement that 25% this year be required, go to training and exercising, and Dick can give you more detail.
Yeah, no, this
Mr.
is
Grimion, please state your name and position with the parish.
Dick Grimion, Director, Office of Homeland Security, Emergency Preparedness. This is a Homeland Security grant that was initiated in 1999. We've gotten it each year, and it is for Homeland Security type projects. They've expanded that a little bit to where we have some hurricane type planning and stuff we can do, but it is not part of the Recovery Act, no ma'am.
Did you attend that, may I, Mr. President?
Go ahead, Ms. Griffin.
Did you attend that meeting that was held in making preparations and plans for the hurricane season?
Norman Bordeaux from my office did, yes ma'am.
Oh, okay, good.
I did not.
I kind of wondered. I figured that somebody would be there from the parish because you all take care of us so good and such good plans.
We'll be giving you a briefing before hurricane season about the changes that have been made. There are a few changes, but nothing major.
Dick, we're very comfortable and safe with the decisions and the work that you do to protect us during hurricane seasons, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin. And Mr. Grimion, we'll be looking forward to you in that briefing when hurricane season gets a little bit closer. Thank you for coming.
2 months.
2 months.
Yes.
That's right.
Any other discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 34 passes. Item number 35, consideration of accepting Calcasieu Parish Number Project 2009-7 as substantially complete. I have a motion by Ms. Trimmy and a second by Ms. Griffin. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 35 passes. Item number 36, consideration of adopting a resolution of memoriam to the family of Mr. Julius H. Dondas. Dr. Mackey.
He's a former police chairman that has recently died, and so we're just going to recognize it to his family.
Thank you for that, Dr. Mackey. I have a motion by Dr. Mackey and a second by Mr. Fordham. Is there any other discussion? Any objection? Hearing none. Item number 36 passes. Item number 37 is an advice that adjudicated property will be offered for sale by the Director of the Division of Planning and Development on April 27, 2010. I have one item I need to take up in the back, and it's, please review the item printed below for your consideration. The chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules to allow
Suspend the rules
this
for
item
discussion.
to be added to the agenda. I have a motion and a second. Are there any comments from the public at this time? Are there any comments from the public at this time? If none, I call for a vote on the motion to suspend the rules to allow this item to be added to the agenda. All of those in favor
So moved.
of the motion to suspend the rules signify by saying aye. All of those opposed by nay.
Aye.
The motion passed unanimously. For consideration approval of the appointment of Mr. Mark McMurray to the National Hurricane Museum
I
and
move. So
Science
moved.
Center Board. I have a motion and by Ms. Femi and a second by Mr. McMillan. So to be put on the agenda.
Question. May I, Mr. President?
Ms. Griffin.
My colleague has a question.
We have a couple of them. Mr. Hassan. I know, but I was going to get to it. But I'm going to let you have it, Mr. Hassan.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin.
Mr. McMillan, do you have a rundown of the qualifications for this nominee?
None of us was even told about it. I mean, as the president,
can I have the floor?
none of us knew about this.
Well, all the voting parties knew about it. I didn't figure it'd come down to a tie, Mr. President. So here's the situation. As you've heard here tonight, Mr. McMurray's been asked by a number of different folks with his retirement to please help them out. We have an opportunity tonight to blend Mr. McMurray into two boards that were combined from the Wetland Center as well as the National Hurricane Museum, something that's going to be a tremendous economic boost for all of Calcasieu Parish. I think he's the right guy for this job that can take the folks from the Tourist Bureau as well as some of the folks from the Wetlands Museum and work with these guys to blend into be a tremendous asset and leader, and as well as can keep us highly informed of what's going on. To have him ask or to want this position is tremendous after so many people are after his time, and I'm just thrilled to make the motion or to second Ms. Trimmy's motion to have Mr. McMurray to do this job for us as a jury. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. McMillan. I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, that item will be put on the agenda. Mr. McMurray, do you have any comments that you would like to share with us before?
Just another one of those non-paying positions you asked to serve on. So.
All right,
Thank
then.
you.
Ms. Colleen, is there any other add-ons or anything that we can finish up for tonight? That's it.
Yeah.
It's going to be rough without you, Colleen. At this time, I'll move for a motion.
Move to adjourn.
Can Ms. Trimmy do this?
Second.
I move for a motion to adjourn, Ms.
Yeah,
Trimmy.
can I do that?
Yes.
I'm excited to make the motions to adjourn.
Mr. Andrew Point, before we leave, Mr. Andrew Point.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll just be short since Ms. Trimmy wants to go home. You know, I've been here a lot of years, and over the years, I've seen a lot of Drew Orr stand toe-to-toe or head-to-head with Mark on different issues, and some of them went acrimoniously, I might add. I've never really taken the privilege of doing that because you have to understand that Mark is a resident of District 13. He's a registered voter, and he votes. And he also is a constituent of mine. So what it means is I got a choice. I can win the war on Thursday nights and lose a vote on Election Day. I opt to lose the war and have a vote on Election Day.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be several votes.
Well, I know that.
No, that's real.
But I just want to add one more thing, too, and you probably don't remember this, but it goes back to years before I came here, that I sat down with you on possibly being a candidate for this seat, and you didn't tell me what to do, you told me what not to do. And I don't know if you remember that or not, but I can tell you I never forgot it, and it was good advice. And I want to thank you for that, Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew Point. I have a motion by Ms. Trimmy and a second by Mr. Andrew Point. We're now adjourned.